Alright, welcome back to game number 3. This is the big one on Base Trade TV. Spawning here in the top left corner of the map, he's just tied the series up in what was a fantastically macro-oriented game. The red Zerg player from Team Liquid, TLO.
The bottom right as the blue Terran, it is Roots Supernova.
You know, well, sorry, that's our Korean admin friend, guys. He may have mistyped because we told him to handle vetoes with the other players. We'll discuss what we did game 3. As much as it might be against popular opinion, and as cool as it would be to have Supernova and Solar advance to join the likes of Bomber, Beol, Journey, and Life, I kind of want both the foreigners in the group to get at it. Like, what an upset that would be to see both Hearthstone and TLO. Not only knock down two fairly good, I'd say, to say the least, good Korean players, but to actually get out of the group and go to the round of 8, I think would be the coolest thing, personally. But I only bring this up because people in chat are already saying, I don't know who to root for this series, for the next series. The nice thing is right now, this is like the feeling before you rip off the Band-Aid. Right? Like, there's still the losers match that these guys can fall to. It's once you get towards the end of the group is when you really got to start cringing and actually take the pain watching your favorite players either win or lose.
Yes, quite. I don't know about the foreigners getting through. I do have faith that one of them will get through, and, you know, maybe even two. Solar did get second place. You know, he lost against Tasia, who doesn't lose against Tasia, though, at the IEM that happened recently. So I definitely feel very good about a ZVT, but our foreigners aren't, you know.
I don't know, man.
Well, actually,
TLO's weird. He's inconsistently amazing, right? Like, there was the time where we were casting the Kaspersky King of the Hill arenas, if you remember those. For those who don't know what we're talking about for that, they were these sort of best of fives, and it had like $1,000 in the line. And people joked about how that tournament was basically sponsoring TLO because he would win them back to back to back to back, and it was against the best players Europe had to offer. Granted, that's not Koreans, but it's still TLO playing against the best of Europe, which is not the same as saying it like 3 years ago. The best of Europe is actually really damn good nowadays.
Yeah. I guess I should have said, I don't know about Solar's ZVZ. That's the only thing I'm worried about. And obviously one of our foreigners is ZVZ. I'm pretty sure ZVP is actually really, really good. So Hearthstone's going to have trouble there. You
know, it's actually a good point you bring that up, because Solar has had some pretty... I'd say wonky ZVZ results, and at least the few times we've cast him. Like, there was that week for, I want to say earlier, or back in February-ish, you know, he was beating players like Innovation for IEM qualifiers, but then losing ZVZs to, like, North American players. It was kind of this gut-wrenching, like, okay, I guess that happened.
Yeah, so... this is the group that the foreigners could make it out of, so I'm not going to be my usually biased Korean self, I suppose.
I know we're talking a lot more about the groups in the game right now, guys. There's something kind of cool happening with TLO trying to knock down the back rocks, but I gotta tell you, too, before we get too ahead of ourselves, as much as I love Solar, and I don't think anyone's going to disagree, he's probably the favorite to win versus Hearthstone, I personally am rooting for Hearthstone in that match, only because I've seen Hearthstone do some really cool things. He's one of those players that's like, oh, I wasn't supposed to win? Nobody told me that. Like... Plus, you know, hashtag Year of Hearthstone.
Of course. Every year is Year of Hearthstone. But we actually had Supernova. I mean, he opened kind of interesting. We have actually been seeing more and more people open up, not with just the Reaper Expand or 14cc, but also in the age-old Gases Expand. You can sometimes get a free Overlord because they just assume you're going to go for Reaper, and of course you get a little more economical bonuses for doing it as well.
I don't know though, every time we see this, Zerg players they get that relaxation, there's absolutely no harass, they drone like crazy, as we see a third base coming down, and I kind of feel like even if Supernova goes for a lot of Hellions right now, TLO's still in that spot where you can just go super drone heavy with kind of a carefree attitude.
That's true. I would be worried if I didn't think that Supernova was going to go mech. Because I feel like, you know, bio, it's, you know, you try and hit the 12-minute mark, and if there's no harass before that or no sphere from the Zerg player, you know, trying to see there, you go in Hellbats or whatever, yeah, then it's scary because they're completely fine, they're totally ready, they swamp you, and you know, and suddenly you're already bad. It's only 12 minutes. But if he's gonna go for mech, which Supernova does a lot, as people do on King Sejong, then it's going to be a more passive play, and it doesn't matter, like, you know, they're both going to be greedy, and they're going to go up to, like, max, and then they're going to fight, so.
You know, one of the other things, too, here is, with the Heli Banshee is kind of a standard opener. I think the big question is going to be, ooh, actually, never mind. I thought it was going to be that swap, but he goes for the Viking.
Yeah, he could actually swap. If he starts Stim, then obviously not. And he's gonna go bio if that happens as well. But you can get the Viking and then you can swap over because no matter what, if you're going to go mech, they're always useful and actually swaps with the tank.
Well, I was gonna say it's Supernova, right? We gotta remember this isn't your standard Terran player. This is our newly found Root Gaming Supernova.
Hey, I still think he can get a Banshee. If he's gonna go mech, I think he's gonna be a Banshee at some point in this game.
I don't disagree. One of the nice things about the Banshee too is it does give you a little bit of an extra, I guess, leeway when it comes to cleaning up creep. We got to see a little bit of that yesterday as well. Was that Journey? I'm trying to remember if it was Journey or if it was Bomber who was doing the Banshees to clean up creep.
That's actually a little too obscure for me.
Yeah, I want to see Journey. I don't know, my brain's so fried after such intense casting yesterday, but either way, no, he's just gonna go really tank heavy. Okay.
This is so interesting. He's doing a push.
Well, I mean, okay, what's the biggest threat to tanks? It's either a lot, and an emphasis on a lot of speedlings or some mutas. This push will hit at a timing before there's mutas, and if he banks on the fact that TLO went greedy because of the no Reaper, then there's not going to be a lot of lings. So this might actually work out pretty well. Let's not forget there's going to be Hellbats to guard the tank. He'll have the advantage with the rocks. He'll have the Viking for the high ground vision. Oh, I'm loving this push more and more.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, back when it was Liberty, we actually saw this push. It's so different now, though. Like, oh, it's so different. But the fact that he's going to abuse this position, almost like a TVT, we see this position all the time in TVT, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Now, TLO, he actually only got one upgrade. He got the Carapace, one Elo Chamber, that's it.
That's the range of the mineral lines. Are you kidding? I didn't even realize. You never see tank play anymore.
What, are you not a TVT or what's up?
Well, no, I mean, TVZ is just... We don't see the tanks in this position. We don't see this a lot, ever. We even have a bunker coming down. He's actually fully walling off the tank.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. He has to wait for Spire.
This is 100% practice out of Supernova. He also drops some Hellions in the main. Nice block here out of TLO to keep the Hellions out. This is kind of when we see Protoss players drop force fields to keep this from going down. Really like the use of this. Drones are getting into a little bit of clump, but you know, with the Roaches, he cleans this up, and that's not a big deal.
Yeah, and Banshees are on the way. Yes, awesome. But as well as an Armory Smith, he's gonna go for mech. Yeah, these two fixture factories. But you know, this is it's gonna. Oh.
If this was Lings, this would be fantastic, but because it's not, it hurts a lot. And those tanks back at home will hold the Roaches off. I mean, this normally if you're a bio player, you get squashed like this. This is GG. There's nothing at home to hold you off. But Supernova with 2 tanks, more bunkers, a little bit paranoid. He's good to go.
I mean, that's why I think that push is so great against someone who doesn't get, like, you know, regular timed mutas. If with mutas, you kind of you clean up easily. You kill a tank and you go on a speedling. It's like big deal. But with the Roaches, they do clean it up, but then the counterattack isn't actually, it's not going to do a lot. No, it's going to do a lot. The SCVs are being pulled.
He focused that bunker down so quickly.
Where's the Banshee? It went off on the other side of the map.
Well, the tank comes in to defend. He should be able to hold this. Banshee's doing absolutely nothing, by the way. Could at least be on top of the third. I don't know. But he sieges the tank. Actually, unsiege that tank would have been a million times more effective. Those Marines need to get in the bunker, too. They can't really take the hits, but these, once again, this should get cleaned up. But TLO catching Supernova completely off guard by this. I don't think... I mean, Supernova was ready for an attack, but not of this magnitude.
Yeah. I was going to talk about how, like, he would have expected that attack. He would have had this great defense, and then TLO would have been under because he had to spend so much money on Roaches, but then that all went out the gutter when TLO actually broke that wall, and the Banshee of Supernova took down a Queen. That's why it's such a low health. But TLO took out so many SCVs. I mean, Supernova's Banshees would have to kill 40 drones.
Yeah, 26 workers versus 6 is a hard loss to take, plus a 4th base on the way. I think one of the big things is, you're right, the Banshee should have been at home, but Supernova still made the right moves. You know, he got a 2nd bunker, he had the full SCV surround on the back half of that. It was just too many Roaches. You get to that point where you can, like, one volley down the bunker, and it's just, you can't repair that. Yeah,
the Banshee on this side of the map did go down. Has this Banshee they can try and find another hole with, but wow, TLO with the 12-minute hive.
Yeah, I like this move a lot, because what was it, B-Lord, we always come back to this guy, I swear to God, like, we're gonna accidentally make B-Lord famous because we keep referencing him. I think a fast Ultralisk Cavern is gonna absolutely devastate Supernova. Because
it's so...
This isn't a scenario where a mech player's on 3 bases super turtled up, goody style. No, this is TLO. He's gonna be hitting in a time where there's gonna be like 5 tanks out, a couple Thors. The DPS really isn't gonna be where it needs to be.
You know, though, he could also, with the Spire going down, go for like a greater Spire.
You know what? Hang on. I hate this. I think Brood Lords are a fantastic response to mech, and I always talk about it in a cast, but we never see pro players do it. It's always like the Masters players or the people streaming like GM on ladder that do Brood Lords. And it always seems to work out so much better than a lot of the responses we see in tournaments, but no one ever does Brood Lords in tournaments versus mech.
Well, I mean, that Spire is just awfully coincidentally timed up with the Hive. I'm just saying.
It'd be really cool. I would love to see it.
Oh, and super to see this, but there's no way that you can really react to it. I mean, first of all, you don't know if it's Vipers, if it's Roaches, or if it's Ultras or Broodlords, so that requires a lot of different tech for all three of those. And even if you do know what's coming, like you're still on 2 bases, your third's barely up, like you don't have enough gas to accomplish everything. It's not happening yet.
We oftentimes mock like Zerg T3 just in general, mostly their air, of course, but it's against the meching player going to be the greatest asset because there's just so many things that you get out of tier 3 that counter. As you mentioned, Vipers blind cloud all the tanks, Corruptors and Broodlords can just absolutely demolish what is a lack of Vikings, and of course Ultras can run train even through tank lines.
Yeah, he is getting Grey Spire as well as an Ultralisk Cavern. I mean, he's getting everything because he's got up to a 4 base. Like, why not get everything?
Is it BM to put like a heart in all chat right now? I'm not gonna do it, but.
I would be worried if TLO made the mistake of going for only Ultralisk because I feel like that's the way that they come back. The Banshees do too much damage, they get a nice choke, stuff like that. But if he's gonna mix everything together, I think it's actually really great against Supernova. Supernova doesn't have enough money, gas to get Vikings as well as enough tanks and Ravens, I suppose, as well.
Another CC coming down. At the very least, he's on 3 bases, right? Like that's what's kind of key going forward. If you're still on 2 bases at this point in the game as a Terran player, playing mech especially, you might as well tap out. Because there's no way you contend with Hive Tech on only 2 bases. Now the problem is, a lot of the time, this is where the paranoia starts setting in, and as a Terran player, playing mech, you don't know, okay, do I need air or do I need ground? Because sadly, you don't have a lot of transition between both like Bio does. Thor's kind of don't really cut it. And if he's scanned right now, he wouldn't see the Greater Spire at the natural near the Hive. If he scanned the 3rd, he'd see the Greater Spire, immediately would regret not having a lot of Vikings, because quite frankly, guys, even if you do the transformation mode on the Thors, not so good against Broodlords.
I don't even know what it's there. I mean, Protoss got Tempest Deal Broodlords, they're so effective.
Right, like that's stupid. It needs to be buffed, I think, because the single target benefit is only like 4 extra damage or something. It's kind of ridiculous.
I think it's so dumb. And really, honestly, you want it more for the Corruptors. You want to be able to beat back the Corruptors so your Vikings deck with the Broodlords, so you want the splash anyways, but...
I like the blue flame drop. Well, it's not blue flame drop, but I like the drop.
TLO, if he had been going for the not tech, if he just went for pure army, he'd already been maxed like minutes ago. And it's when game wouldn't look nearly as close. As it is, by going for tech, he is giving Supernova an awful lot of time. I mean, I think it's still a dangerous position for Supernova.
I don't think it's gonna be close at all. I mean, there's no anti-air here. I don't mean there's a little bit, and like he doesn't.
There is one Viking. Excuse you.
Well, and maybe a secret missile.
The Viking died.
But I was gonna say, the Broodlings guys, what they do is they force the tanks to be on siege. If the tanks are in siege, guess what? The Roaches move in. The Zerglings move in. This is a really rough spot to be in, as we see forced on siege the tanks.
What are the CPs doing?
Transfer, we didn't realize it, I think.
That 4th is gonna go down. Yep, not even close. I mean, no, that wasn't even like a long siege up. He had Broodlords, he went in, that's a dead Supernova.
100% comes down to lack of scouting. Not knowing that transition was coming, not knowing exactly what it was. When you scout that Hive, guys, that's the point where you have to sacrifice mules, no matter how much your economy's in shambles.
He just had a couple of Vikings. He would actually be taking on all these Broodlords right now.
Right? There was like 1 Corruptor. Sorry, well now there's a little bit more, but at the start of the fight, there was 1 Corruptor. Banshees are actually going ham on the Roaches, but I really think Supernova's expecting Ultras. That's the only thing I can expect. I mean, you don't go Banshee heavy if you're expecting Broodlords. GG. TLO will make it out of the first best of 3 here alive. This will knock Supernova down to the losers match. This will bring TLO to the winners match, and we're gonna see it as fast as we can to set up the series of Hearthstone versus Solar guys. Now.